let's try that again with sound. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, cats, dogs and squirrels. It is lovely to see you all today. Welcome back to my channel, because we're all locked down, we're all learning maths online, so why shouldn't I start trying to do some YouTube videos for us to all learn with? It's lovely to see some new faces in the chat. If you are new here, please remember to chat by posting your name, and every time you post an answer to anything or a say hello, please put your name as well so I know who I'm saying hello to. Because that way, obviously we don't need to post loads and loads and loads and stuff, but if you want to say hello Mr. Harris, and then I'll be able to say good morning to you like a register while we're doing the starter in a second. We're going to go straight into the video in a second, so strap in. Get your pens and pencils ready. Get some paper ready. Get a cuddly toy ready. You don't need a cuddly toy, but it's sometimes nice to have just to keep you calm if you're getting stressed by the math. I'll see you in a minute. Right, shall we go straight over to our traditional thing? And we've got a starter this morning. So today's lesson is all about thousands, and the reason it's called Thousand Island is because there is a set of islands called the Thousand Islands, which I believe are near Indonesia, but I can find out more information on that. I should probably have prepared that. The first thing we're going to do, we're going to spend 1 minute writing down on your bits of paper how many words of 3 or more letters you can make. If you get any that are 5 or more, you get a bonus point. You've got 1 minute, while I say hellos to people, to be writing a list of as many words as you can. If you want to put words in the chat, you can as well, but it will make it harder for me to scroll down and say my good mornings. So you've got about 50 seconds left while I say good morning to, obviously I can only, good morning Maria or Maria. Good morning to you this morning. Good morning Isaac Sharp, nice to see you again. Morning Adeline, nice to see you returning. Good morning Harriet in South Wales, good to see you back again. Good morning, I'm anonymous. Lovely name. I'll call you N. Good morning, N. Good morning, Josh and Sophie. Back again. Nice to see you. Good morning to anyone else who I haven't said a good morning to as well. Amelie and Archie. Good morning again. I hope you've all missed the music. Good morning, Alice Jones-Evans. If that's good morning, Freddie Scott. Good morning, Donny. Good morning, anyone I've missed. 1,000... Yes, you have, Adeline. That's very clever. Good morning, Abby and Jack. If I've missed anyone, I do apologise. Any more words coming from 1,000? If you write as many as you go, South is quite a good one. I've saw that one. South gets you a bonus point because it's 5 or more letters as well, which is always nice. And anyone, obviously, hands. I don't know if anyone got hands. Hound is an excellent one, because that's 6 letters. A 6-letter word out of... And you've only got 8 letters to play with. That's pretty special. I like that a lot. So let's see if there's any more. South and sand and hand. Hands. Oh, I didn't even know. You could put an S on the end, can't you? So hands, hand. Lovely. Any more? You've got about 10 seconds left, and then we move into the main bit of the lesson. So, with that in mind, I'll give you a last few seconds, and then we're going to move on. If you've missed this format, I know you'll recognise, those of you who are with me in the summer, you'll recognise the format of my PowerPoints. Should probably update it a little bit, but we'll do some different things over the next few weeks. But I thought we'll start with the traditional. Some people are like the retro thing. I'm sure some of you heard the music and went, I've missed this music. Some of you who are hearing it for the first time go, what is this music going on? So, well done to all the people, all getting lots and lots of words there. We're going to talk about the 1,000 Islands, and here's a picture of them. You can see. And all those little islands, some of them bigger than others. And we're now going to go straight into the first activity. So it's time to see me. Here I am. Hopefully, if my screen is working as it should do. I remember I have a 9-second delay, so I have to sort of hope that I'm there and keep waffling until you can see me. So the first thing we're going to talk about in this video is number bonds to 1,000. Some of you will be really good at this already. Brilliant. If you are, then you'll fly through this bit. You'll need your pens and paper ready. I'm just going to talk to anyone who's not as strong with it, because it's okay. I have a strong policy that it's absolutely fine to struggle with things. In fact, if everything's easy, we're not learning anything. So it's absolutely fine to find things difficult. But I've got methods to try and help things make more sense. So, here we go. How would we find the number bond to 632? Now, for some reason, there's a 700 and a lily pad's missing, and there's a 700 floating. I don't know why that's happened, but hopefully things will appear in a minute. So, to get from 632 to 1,000, we are going to, first of all, look at the unit. So look at the 2, and I'm in the way. Here we go. I'm out the way now. I am going to jump from 632 to 640. And the reason I'm going to do this is I want to just get the unit sorted first, because it's easy to spot that that is a jump of 8. Or hopefully you can spot that that's a jump of 8. So we first of all look at what's the next tens number up from there. Then, as you can see I've already done, there's my lily pad. I don't know why it went missing. It must be the 700 that went missing. I meant to do the 700 and the lily pad went missing instead. Next, we want to get from 640 up to 700. So we're not going all the way to 1,000 yet. We're just going to go up to 700. So that's going to be another 60. So all I've done is lily pad jumped. I've done my frog jumps from 632 to 640 and then from 640 to 700. Finally, I then do my frog jump from 700 to 1,000 is plus 300. And then if you look at the 3 numbers in the green, you will see that it's 368. So we've got how to jump from 632 up to 1,000. We need to pair it. And the reason they're called number bonds is it's because they're like best friends. Basically, these 2 numbers go together to make 1,000. So it's like what number goes with 632? And this lily pad method works. You don't have to draw the lily pads. You can just draw circles if it's helpful. But I'll just rewind what I did. I started at 632. Ignore the 700. I went to 640 first by doing a lily pad jump of 8. Then up to 700. Then up to 1,000. And then I went 8 and 60 and 300 gives me the 368 I need at the end. Hopefully that makes some sense to people, because you're going to have a try now. I'll now be watching the chat for a second while people are trying these 5 questions. You're going to try and find the number bonds to 1,000. Use your paper and pencils. This is island 1. I said there's 1,000 islands. We're mainly focusing on 1,000, so it's some islands. There won't necessarily be 1,000 of these. But the first island we're going to be doing is your number bonds to 1,000, and I'll be seeing some discussions going on. Tan is a word. It's a maths word as well. Cookies and cream. I can see that. Remember, if people want me to be able to respond easily, they need to put, if they're not using their correct name, they need to put their name in so I know who I'm talking to. That's all, because I can't remember who everyone is. I try my best, and I try and keep a list, but we never know how many we've got. We've got like 25 people here at the moment, so I'm trying to keep track of everyone. So, hopefully, I'm anonymous, or N has done this with number lines. So what we can do here, you can use number lines, but I like the little lily pad approach. So in this first question, I think we're going to add Maria. Sorry, Maria. Maria, and all of you, what we're going to try and do here is add 9 to make it 480. Then add the 20 to make it up to 500, and then 500. So I think the first one here is going to be 529. Some of you will already have done that first one and be working on the next one. I'm trying to give you some time. Now, what you can always do with these questions, because, okay, it's nice to be joining me live, but if you want to, you can go, you know what, I'm going to leave this and go back to it. You can watch the video on and then rewind the video at the end and come back and do these questions yourself. Because if you take a bit longer, that's absolutely fine. Some of you here might only just be in year 4, maybe even some year 3s have joined us. So it might be having a few younger people. They might want to take a bit more time to draw their lily pads out, and that's fine. Okay? So if you're finding I'm moving on a bit fast, it's a video. That's what has to happen. Here's some answers for you, but we don't want to we'll skim over them very quickly, because then people can go back. In fact, let me give it a bit longer with the answers on. Anyone who wants to check their answers out, they're there. There's some answers for you, and some people I can already see on the chat are getting it right. Okay? There's some answers, but now I'm going to move forward with the next thing. So, there's no doubts. So, what we're going to do now, I've hopefully got myself on the screen again. We're now going to talk about the next thing, which is counting on in thousands. I said today's lesson is all about thousands. We're going to be practicing counting on in thousands. Now, in numbers, there are various different things. We have the units, tens and hundreds are often talked about. But we've also got the thousands column. The thousands here is the 3. We've got no units, no tens, no hundreds, but we have got 3 thousands. If I want to count up in thousands, I only change that number. So it's going to be 13,000, 14,000, 15,000, 16,000. Only the thousands number changes. Now that's true even when we have more complicated numbers. If we look at 6,348, only the thousands number changes. So we can ignore the 8, we can ignore the 4, we can ignore the 3, and we're going to count on the thousands. So it's going to change from 6 to 7, 7 to 8, and 8 to 9. So you can see only the thousands number is changing. Now sometimes that can be a bit more complicated. This number here is 278,000. So if we want the thousands to change, the next one must be 279. But what happens here? Excuse me, I may be about to sneeze. Excuse me. Now we add 1,000 more, 280,000. We add 1,000 more, 281,000. And that's how we finish up. So you can see we're changing just the thousands. When we're counting on in thousands, it's the fourth number along that's going up. What you're now going to do is you've got 5 to do yourself. Write down the next 5 numbers by changing the thousands digit only. Okay, thank you very much for your bless yous. That's very kind of you. So, all you're going to be doing here is going to write the next 3 numbers if you add on in thousands. So write down on your piece of paper. Hopefully you'll always come to my lessons with a bit of paper ready to write things down. I'd love, by the way, if your parents are on Facebook and want to join the Mr. Harris School of Maths and you get them to get a photo of you doing your work. I love to see photos of your work, and I can display that in future videos of people getting on with their work. Or if you don't want to be in it yourself, you can make sure your face is not visible. But it's lovely to be able to see the work. It's not you I want to see. I want to see the work being done and all the different things that people are working on. Okay, so I can see here, I was told off a minute ago, Maria said 6,000, then 7,000, and then 8,000. I reckon you might be right there, Maria. 6,000, then 7,000, then 8,000 seems good to me. Okay, and then we're working on B, and then C, and then D, and then E. Remember, with E, I've deliberately made it quite complicated. And if you worked out which number is changing, I think the 9 goes up. But that makes 19 into 20. So that comma is actually quite helpful when we're going up in thousands. That's why I've put the commas in. Because they help us to see where the thousands digit starts. And adding on 1,000, we're only changing those. Remember, the 300 or the 277 all stay as they are. Well done, N, with 6,700, 1,000 and 8,000 as well. I think I'm going to put some answers up now. Again, if you're finding you want a bit more time on this, that's absolutely fine. Pause the video or go back to the video in a little while. Because I'm going to move on because it's a live video and I want to make sure we get through as much as we can. But there's some answers for you. Those people want to check their answers, and because hopefully you're writing it all down as we go along. And if you're not doing it live, even better. You can pause it and you can do it yourself. So some people watch it live, but I hope lots more people will watch it later on. So let's see how they got on as well. Okay, let's come back and say hello again. Now the final thing we're going to do before we play a game, because we've got a game at the end today, is we're going to do some adding and subtracting of... Excuse me, I've got something in my eye. Adding and subtracting of 4-digit numbers. Thousands, if you want. You see where everything's come from the Thousands Islands. It's not just a joke based on Thousand Island dressing. Now, we are going to move on with me disappearing. I am going to move now into my other screen. Now, we know before Mr. Harris has struggled with this, but we're going to try and hopefully it will work. We should now be able to see Mr. Harris's whiteboard. And he should be able to start doing some calculations with you. And we're going to talk about an addition and we're going to talk about subtraction. Now you will notice I don't like this. At the moment, I don't think I've written this very neatly. You may be able to tell I've got squared paper here. I don't think that's very neat. So what I'm going to do, I'm not going to rub it out because we want to see it. I want to try and make it so I've got, roughly speaking, one number in each box. The reason I do this, and we often you'll find your maths teachers give you square paper, especially at secondary school, is to allow you to do this and then you can line it up nicely. So I have put a big cross through that one and I'm using the nice neat version. Then we look at the units first. The first bit's nice and easy. 2 and 3 makes 5. The next one, however, is 5 and 8 makes 13. But 13 doesn't all fit in that space. So instead, we put the 3 bit of the 13 here and carry the 1 forward. This will be very familiar to you because it looks a bit like the tens and hundreds when you're adding, but it's just an extra level a digit. Now when we add the 7 and the 3, don't forget the little 1. He's like, what about me? Don't forget him. So we've got 7, 3 and 1 makes 11. So we're going to carry that on. We've now got 11 again, so we have to have an extra number. And this will be 11,000. Now I like to write my answers as an equals here, and I put a comma with 3 digits from the end. So I always do that to show it's 11,135. That is how we add those bigger numbers. If at any point you're struggling with the worksheet that's attached to the video, because obviously that's there as like not like a homework or a consolidation, when you're trying to work through those sheets, if you're struggling, come back to this bit, rewind the video, watch what I did again. If you've got any questions, feel free to post them. Okay. And the next one, we've got an answer ready for us, so we'll have to see whether Maria is correct. We're going to try and take 6 away from 3. But we can't. We're not allowed. So instead, we have to borrow from the 6, giving us 13 minus 6 is 9. No, it's not, Mr. Harris. It's 7. What is wrong with you? Now, obviously, I think this is quite neat because it's quite spaced out. I could put them all in one square at a time, but it's because it's nicely spaced out, even bigger than that. I'm not going to worry this time. Now it's 5 take away 2, which is 3. And, hey, Alfie. And then 7 take away 8 can't do. So now we're going to borrow from the 9 and get 8. So it's 17 take away 8 is 9. And then 8 take away 4 is 4. And I think we'll all agree, well done, Maria. That is, the answer is 4937. But as Mr. Harris has been showing us, we're putting a little comma in there. So that's how that works. Now, why on earth has Mr. Harris said we're going to finish with a game? Because if we look at it in his worksheet, go back to his PowerPoint, you will notice that it then says, oh, this is the end of the lesson. We're going to complete the worksheet, and then we've got a Taskmaster challenge. The Taskmaster challenge here is make the most inspirational poster for Mr. Harris to use in his videos. I'd like something positive for the new year. 2021, Mr. Harris's Maths channel. I want a nice positive poster. You know, this can be made on the computer and sent to me. It can be a hand-drawn and a picture sent to me. Who can make me the most inspirational poster? I'd love to use that in my videos, even for the older students. Something positive and inspirational for the new year. Something that's going to not just add and take away. I want something that's going to inspire people. Some quotes. Have a look online. Find some inspirational quotes. Find one you like. One you think that will be a nice motto for us to use for the year. Something inspirational. So this week's Taskmaster Challenge is to make the most inspirational poster for Mr. Harris to use in his videos. Now we'll try and include a small prize or something for anyone, for whoever I choose as the best one. So that looks like it's the end, but it's not the end. But it looks like it's the end, sir. But it isn't the end. I'm telling you. How do you know, Mr. Harris? It's because, look, I've got another page and we're going to play a game. In this game, you're going to need to draw in your books or on your paper 4 numbers like this. Okay? And what is going to happen is we are going to try and get as close as we can to 9,999 without going over if we can. If you go over, oh, whoopsie. How are we going to do that? Well, I'm going to go to my trusty dice. I have a little dice here. So every time I roll a dice, you're going to choose a square to put it in. I'm going to give you a few seconds to work out, to get your grid drawn. Have you all drawn grids? I'm going to look in the chat and see the different grid and get you all ready. Because obviously, if I'm only playing on my own, I'm definitely going to win. So the way this works is it's called the 1000 game. Now, I normally play the 1000. Let's play it with only. In fact, let's play the 1000 game properly because I don't want to confuse it. Let's get as close to 1000 as we can. Who can get as close to 1000 possible? So you need 3 squares and 3 squares. If you've got 4 squares, just cross your squares out. It looks like we've got a few people. Oh, Adeline's drawn the grids. And I can see a few other people. I'm trying to remember some names. This is the thing because I have to look back over the names to try and remember who everyone is. Abby and Jack have both drawn their grids and they're ready to start. Okay, you don't need your dice. I'll give you the dice because what's going to happen is I'm going to roll the dice. We all use the same number. That's what we do. We all use the same number. So, what's going to happen is, first of all, roll the dice. It's a 3. You need to choose where you're going to put that 3. Somewhere in your grid. You have 10 seconds to put the number 3 somewhere in your grid. So, where are you going to put your 3 to try and get as close to 1,000 as possible? Now, normally, I would have some slight... I'd have an extra grid of this, but we're going to learn the game like this, and then we're going to play one more game, but we're going to play it with 9 boxes instead of 6. So, adding them all together at the end, we're going to be doing. So, how are we going to add these together? So, I'm putting my 3 in there, I think, and we'll roll again. I've got a 1. Where shall I put my 1? I think I'm going to put my 1 in. I'm just going to wait and give everyone a chance to put their 1. And I'm putting my 1 in there. I don't know where you put your 1, but the next number to put in was a 1, if anyone didn't hear me. You have to do it in that order. If you haven't put a 3 and a 1, they need to go in now. You can't wait and see what other numbers come up. So I've got another 1, I'm afraid. Oh, dear. Where are we going to put the other 1? Oh, I've got to decide now. I don't want to ruin everything, but... excuse me. Let's put it in there then. Go on then. I've got another 3. I'm going to risk it and put my 3 in there. So we've got another 3 here. And we've got another 3. And the next one is a 2. Oh, now where are we going to put the 2? I'm going to put my 2 in there, I think. And then we've got one more dice roll to go. This is just learning the game, remember. This is not the full game. This is just learning it. Our final dice roll, we've only got one space to put it in, it's another 3. So we go into our final one is a 3. And so I then add up my totals, and my score was 2, 5, 6. Which, if we want to see how far off 1,000 it is, we use our number bond. So it needs to be plus 8 makes 660, plus 40 makes 700, plus 300 makes 1,000, so it's 300. I'm 348 away. So that's quite a long way away. Isaac Shark got 634. Monty's Nuts got 454. But obviously it's not as fun with a dice because there's only 6 numbers on a dice. So here's how I then change the game. I get a pack of playing cards. And in my pack of playing cards... wrong pack. Get my pack of playing cards. And in my pack of playing cards, these are my panda ones. My special panda ones. I know that because it says panda on the bottom. I am going to find a 7, a 5, a 3, a 6, a 2, an 8, a 9, a 1, and a 4. We should have 10 cards here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What have I missed? Ah, we need to use a 10 as a 0. I need to take a 10 as the 0. So I've now got 10 playing cards. What you do to make the game more fun if you're playing with your family is when you draw the grids, you shuffle the cards and reveal a 10, which would be a 0, and you put a 0 in the box. But the other thing we're going to all do is when you draw your grids, you're going to not draw 2 lines, but you've got to draw 3 lines to get as close to 1,000 as you can. As close to 1,000 as you can, but each time the number comes up randomly. Now, some of you might find that's a bit tough doing the adding at the end. That's okay. What you can also do, if you prefer, you don't have to have the extra line. So you can just rub out these ones and just play like this first if you'd like to. If you're still getting used to it, so it depends what year you're in. If you're year 3 or 4, you might decide that this is fine for you. But if you're year 5 or 6, you might decide to play with 3 lines. Then you have to try and put lower numbers to try and make sure it doesn't go too big because you're trying to get as close. The person with the closest to 1,000 wins. Well done, Jack, on getting 634. Well done, Maria. Managed to get 6, 8, 9. Are you playing yourself with some dice? Nice. Okay, so 5, 4, 6 away from you, but it's good practice of your number bonds. So there you go, Sophie and Josh. It's still good practice, isn't it? So who's the real winner? I think we're still winners because we got to practice our number bonds and practice our numbers to 1,000. So that's the main thing. So try it again at home with your cards. Try it and let me know how you get on. I'd love to find out how people do. Like I've said, send some photos of how you're doing. But let's go back to the PowerPoint, as I always used to call it. Let's go back to the studio. Today's challenge is to complete the adding and subtraction worksheet, which is in the link below. I hope, if I've written it in the description, I believe I have. And then make a poster for me. If you submit it this week, it might win the competition. Everything can be entered via email, or even better, on the Facebook group if you get your parents to go on the Facebook group, or carers, or whoever looks after you, nans, granddads, aunts, uncles, whoever looks after you, get them to go on the Facebook group and then they can communicate with me directly. It's been lovely to see you, and you know what's coming next if you've been here over the summer. I have been Mr. Harris. You haven't. Take very good care of yourself, and I'll look forward to seeing you on Thursday. Goodbye.